everybody, I'm going to talk about my curriculum design today. My curriculum design was created for 6th through 8th grade students, but it'd be easily adaptable to any age range. Likewise, it's specifically written for Ponderosa State Park, but it can be adapted to any ecosystem or any environment. Even if that's in the middle of a city, there's still ecosystems happening there. So it's very versatile, but the main thing that I'm focusing on throughout my curriculum design is creating and fostering a culture that's thriving in exploration and just general play for students. So trying to come up with a curriculum design that is going to be fun for the children. My justification for this curriculum design stems from COVID-19, surprise, surprise. A majority of my curriculum design is going to be focusing on English language arts standards, which have fallen behind in the last 2 years, and there's been a direct link to the alternative schooling that's been occurring, like distance learning throughout COVID. And so a lot of what my curriculum design is featuring is those English language arts standards, and I wanted to give you guys a little preview into what that looks like. Alright, so I want to let you guys not be staring at me on screen for a couple of minutes. So this next activity, you guys are actually going to go outside. So while I give you instructions, if you want to make sure that you have your coat, go ahead and do that. And I'll tell you when to pause me, because this will take about 3 or 5 minutes, and I don't want to just stand here while I wait for you guys to do your activity. So once you guys are bundled up and have your jackets and you're ready to go outside, we're going to go find a place on campus. And it doesn't have to be very far. I'm only going to give you guys 3 to 5 minutes to do this. But just find somewhere that has something that you like or something that you think is neat, and you're going to write 2 sentences. So the first sentence is going to be coming from the standpoint of a scientist. So think about any of the peer-reviewed articles that you've read for Jan's class that you've used to cite for your ecology project. Think about that, channel that scientist, and write a sentence that you think comes from their point of view. So that's your first sentence. Your second sentence is going to be from the point of view of a mouse, the little rodent creatures, a mouse. And then just one sentence from each point of view. We're going to go outside, so you guys can go ahead and pause me and take 3 or 5 minutes, go outside, find something, write 2 sentences. All right, welcome back. I hope the fresh air was refreshing and you guys found something fun to write about. What I want you guys to do now is just take a minute, and this time you don't have to pause me. I'm just gonna hang out for a minute. I'll time you guys. But what I want you to do is turn to a partner, talk about which sentence, which perspective was easier to write, and why you think it was easier to write. All right, so find a partner and discuss for a minute. All right, everybody, that was your minute. I know that might have been a little short, and I wish I was there to hear what you guys thought, but I just wanted to share some of my thoughts. So the area I came to had some beautiful rose hips, and from my mouse's perspective, I thought it was a lot easier to write about this rose hip with the thorns and the possible food for the winter. So that was an easy sentence for me to write. And I thought it was kind of funny that it was more difficult for me to write from the scientist's point of view. I feel like I have more in common with a scientist than maybe I do a mouse, because we're both human beings. So I thought about it, and I think just as far as observation goes, I've spent a lot of time observing mice, And I also just think that writing style is a little bit more creative, and I think that's a little bit more fun for me, and it comes a little bit more naturally. So that's the style that I found easier and more fun. All right, so thank you guys for embarking on that process with me. And I also just wanted to congratulate you, because in those maybe 6 short minutes that we did this activity, you've already hit a couple of ELA standards for the state of Idaho from 6th through 8th graders. So one of those writing standards for grade 8, and if you're accomplishing the grade 8 standard, then you're also accomplishing the 6th and 7th grade standard. That's how that works. They build on each other. But one of those writing standards is being able to form complete explanatory sentences. So that's kind of that scientist point of view sentence that you guys wrote. And I think that's totally achievable for 6th through 8th graders, especially if we put it in a fun context and we're not just telling them to find peer-reviewed articles and write that way. The second standard that we achieved in this short few minutes was one of the reading standards. So being able to read or understand 2 different points of views. And so not only can we understand 2 different points of views, we actually articulated them into words. And again, that's something that comes naturally to students when you have them do it in this way, where they get to be outside and they're just thinking about either the creative process or the scientific process. And it's something a little bit more fun than just trying to do it in the textbook. And so again, that's why my curriculum design is going to be play-based and outside-based. I've got lots of other examples that I'd love to talk to you about, but I don't want to bore you with all of the descriptors there. But the main thing is having that sense of exploration and that sense of play, and then incorporating that in a fun way to meet the English language standards. And as we're meeting the English language standards, we're also meeting some of our science standards like observation. All right, thank you guys.